Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am joined once again with the Wonderkind, Riley Wichmann. Riley, how are you doing?
Good. I'm excited to get going with this NFL season. MLB's been grind. EPL is starting up, but I think NFL is my favorite, and I'm guessing you probably agree as well.
Absolutely. It's a super fun sport. It's probably our most fun sport. I just want to let you guys know that we're going to be sharing the AFC projections with you. We're also going to be sharing six futures that Riley has picked. If you want the NFC side, we also have futures selected there, and we have all of these projections and win totals for the NFC side as well. And you can jump on board and join the Expected Edge Sports community. We would love to have you. Riley, take a look at the AFC East for us. We have Buffalo projected at 10.1 wins and 6.9 losses. This is well under the season win total line of 11 and a half. And we're also getting plus money. So the market really likes Buffalo and over here. Why did you pull the trigger on this?
Yeah, I think a combination of just, I mean, obviously our projections are generating that 10.1, and that's going to be the summation of all of their win probabilities from their games. And so just in general, what the model is spitting out, obviously a lot of value there. Taking a look at this team a little bit more, obviously they're going to be very experienced. They have probably a top three, maybe quarterback. So it's hard to bet against them, obviously, but I think we've kind of our strategy over the years has been to really critique the high end teams and find ways to bet against them in scenarios like this where maybe the public is overhyping them a bit. So in this division, you got a couple pushovers. You got the Jets. You got Miami, who will probably be a 500-ish team this year. But I think almost every team in this division will give Buffalo a game. So it's not going to be, an easy divisional schedule for them by any means, I think. And then looking at their first few games here, they have the Rams, which will be certainly a tough test. The Titans, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Steelers. So it's not an amazingly easy start, but you still have a couple. Well, you have at least one give me game in there with the Steelers. So, and then they go to Kansas City and Green Bay. So their first half of the season should be pretty hard, Buffalo. And so I expect that they'll drop a couple, and then you would expect them to still make the playoffs at least. But I think this O line as well is something that will stress as we go down these teams. Their O line is about average for my ratings as well. So nothing that blows me out of the water outside of their quarterback play. And then if their defense is able to replicate their previous season, they will probably outperform this 10.1. The question is it by 2 wins or not? And because we have the 1.4 perceived edge by the model, we're going to go ahead and hit this under here at plus money. I think it's good value for what we're generating at least. So, and actually as of now too, the most updated numbers have Buffalo at 10.4, and that's probably the highest we'll see them in our model as of the start of the season. So obviously you hope the Rams win that first game. That would be a good start for us.
That's great. And I think this is a situation where Buffalo is going to be favored in most of their games. So if it was a situation where they had 4 losses, 5 losses, and we wanted to hedge that last week, I bet that we could find plus money on the other side to lock in some profit if we went that direction. We also have New England at plus 150 to make the playoffs. We have them as a 50-50 shot. So that would be plus 100. So we're getting quite a bit of value here. We also took them. I never mind betting with New England, so I kind of like that play. And the NFC North looks like it's going to be a grudge match and kind of boring to talk about. So we're going to skip over to the AFC South. The AFC South, we have 2 plays there. We have Houston. Oh, Houston. And we have Jacksonville. Can you speak a little bit about a couple these two?
Yeah, I think. I mean, for me, Houston is a prime tank candidate this year. I don't. It's hard for me to imagine a scenario in which they don't. So I think, lowest scoring team makes a lot of sense to me here at the price we're getting it at. Didn't want to bet the under, just not enough edge for us there. I wanted to find a way to bet against them. I think this offense is going to be pretty abysmal. Obviously, we have a little within our community. We have some support behind Davis Mills. I would have liked the model to have liked him, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Their O-line is okay. Defense, nothing really to write home about. We'll see how Stingley does. We'll see how some of their new guys do. But a Lovey Smith. I believe it's Lovey Smith, which is that says a lot about where this offense is going to go. I think, but I don't see them scoring very much this year. And towards the back end of the year, I think they're going to start to pack it in and go for the number one pick. So that's kind of my take on Houston. Jacksonville, kind of the opposite, where you'd think that Peterson, their new head coach, just doing the bare minimum is going to get more out of Lawrence than Urban Meyer, who was, who knows at this point, maybe physically abusing him like he did. What's his name? The kicker. So I think that the change of head coach is going to be, it seems to be a common sentiment, but I think it's going to be a huge difference for Jacksonville this year, even with the team that they have. Obviously, they're adding more talent as well. So for me, the over 6 is a no-brainer. Even at the juice price that it is, I think this division could end up being more of a wash, where it's a really tight, finish with teams taking wins off of each other towards the back end of the year. Obviously, with Houston being the one pushover. So we'll see. Jacksonville could be a surprise team. I'm a little bit hesitant on them though, because there does seem to be a lot of public backing as well, which I tend to like to avoid. But in this case, 1.6 wins of value, over the season win total, I'm not going to turn that down.
Yeah, I can attest to as a Bears fan, I can attest to Lovie Smith being worth at least 2 points a game under the total. So I think we have a good shot there.
Yeah, Davis Mills isn't. I mean, as much as I love Davis Mills to do well, I don't think they're set up to support him. So, but we'll see.
All right, so let's move on to the AFC West. Always a fun division, kind of a glamour division, but we have a tight race here for first. We have Kansas City and the Chargers, even for the division, and we decided to go with Denver under 10. Do you think that there's just a lot of firepower in that division? Denver's going to have a tough time getting to double digits?
Yeah, that was sort of my original thought. I mean, just outside of the numbers, from more of a 10,000 foot view, I do think that's the case. I mean, I think Denver is very capable of losing a large portion of their divisional games. I mean, Vegas will take a game off of them potentially. KC could take 2. The Chargers could take 2. And obviously, if you like Denver, then fair enough, you're going to disagree with me. But I do think that Russell Wilson coming in at this stage of his career didn't have the greatest year last year, but if he can replicate what he did a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago with Seattle, then maybe this is a different story. Maybe it's a little bit tighter than I anticipate. But there was a reason that we did go with the 2 units here on this one. They do have a couple easy games right away. They have Seattle and Houston, but for me, if they were to drop one of those, that would really put them in a hard situation. And I think bode well for us the rest of the year, because they are favored by, at this stage, 4.5 and 9 in their first 2 games. But then the next basically 8 games, they're either even or dogs. So that's, a tough stretch for them. They have the 49ers, the Raiders, the Colts, Chargers, the Jets. They're favored. They are favorites, but the rest of them are very, very tight.
So getting over a full game of value. Mm-hmm. I think that the downside for Russell Wilson is bigger than the upside, separating him from Pete Carroll and the system that we've known is him in that system. Mm-hmm. So there is a much better chance that he comes in and it doesn't work out than he comes in and does exactly what he was able to do in Seattle. And
with a first-year head coach too. First-year head coach and Nathaniel Hackett. So that's kind of where I kind of see the divide, where I think, for example, going back to Jacksonville very quickly, Peterson, his experience is going to help this team a lot. Where Russell Wilson might not click with Nathaniel Hackett right away. Him being a first-year head coach, I believe, Nathaniel Hackett. So we'll see. But I do think this division is very, very strong, and I think it's the Chargers. I like the value there in them to win. But I do think it'll be a very tight race to the finish here. But I always like backing Justin Herbert when I can. So that's my take there.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. The AFC projections. If you want the NFC projections, jump on. There's still time left. The season has not started. And if you would like to preview our product, we always have NFL Week 1 free every year. So we're going to post that on the site. We're going to have another video coming up that will explain how the NFL model works week to week. And Riley will join me for that. So we look forward to seeing more of you in the community. See you later, Riley.
See ya. Thanks for having me.
All right.